A photograph from Canada's Meteor Orbiting Radar, which affectionately shows us the core of Cosmos 2 sphere, an aligned tetrahedron, also known as an octahedron. This photo shows the position of octahedron in the shell, which is the same stellar sphere. Both pyramids must be magnetic. This is the root cause of attraction and the fact that light bends upward, which is proved by experiments. It is pulled into the center of the sphere. Coulomb force is gravity, and if the charge sign is different, it is repulsion. If the charge signs are the same, considering that the pyramids are not connected to each other, they are not broken, their charge signs are the same, and they repel each other. There is a zero between the pyramids. Zero magnetic absolute balance, magnetic balance, concentration where concentrated. Where energy flows from the whole cosmic sphere is clearly shown by the ring model. According to the principle of this model, energy circulates in the cosmic sphere. Everything starts from the center, everything goes back to the center, back to the starting point, a closed system. Everything communicates, crosses and concentrates in the center. Why in the center? Because there. Zero magnetism, perfect balance. Perfect balance, concentrated energy in the center. First of all, ether. Use two words to describe people who don't mean anything. Therefore, there must be an invisible etheric energy concentration between pyramids. For clarity, I will show a picture of Stall. These are two tetrahedrons, and between these two tetrahedrons, the etheric energy concentration is zero. What are the specific reasons why pyramids are magnetic? There is a physicist, David Lapoy. No, he has a right field theory. There's a link under the video to his channel. And his theory is described as very primitive. It's just two bowls with through holes, but they have amazing characteristics. These are the emitters of the magnetic field, and the author uses them to explain the structure of all matter. I will show Lapoy several episodes of David's video material. A vacuum flask with these cups in it, the center between bowls, provide various purge gases, air, organic pollutants, hydrogen and helium. The gas will not be scattered on the whole head, but will be concentrated in the center between bowls to form a luminous core which will be instantly converted into plasma. After being adjusted by the exposure setting on the camera, it will be pushed out by upper and lower jets through their openings, and the mixed geometric shape will be obtained. What you see is strikingly similar to the Red Square Nebula, and you can see the bowl shape of the magnetic field. The building of CERN building in Geneva is bowl-shaped with a hole in the top. The author made a bowl according to the dome model of CERN. The bowls of the vacuum chamber not only form plasma spherical luminescence between them, but also form plasma equatorial disks and plasma jets along the axis around this luminous core. The steel non-magnetic ball is kept in the center of the bowl on the weight. A bowl-shaped magnetic field emitter forms an array of magnetized and unmagnetized spheres. The only thing that keeps the ball unchanged is the magnetic field from the bowl. The bowl-shaped magnetic field induces the magnetic field in each steel ball, making them repel each other and keeping the balls together. It forms a pattern of geometric equilibrium as we find in atoms and molecules. Steel balls form tracks. Metal sawdust showing magnetic lines of force corresponds to the field of bowl-shaped radiator. Bowl and ball are its openings, and once the balance of bowl and ball is broken, it will be pushed out intensively. Therefore, everything in the world is organized according to fractal principle, and the laws of similarity itself, microworld and macroworld, all follow the same laws. David's claw is not. He claims that his positive field theory explains the structure of everything from electrons to atoms to molecules of planets, stars, nebulae, and galaxies. There must be some basic pattern in the macroscopic world, and fractal chains follow. It is logical to assume that there are these bowl-shaped magnetic field emitters in the center of the cosmic sphere between the two pyramids. Let's illustrate these bowls between them with a vivid illustration. Zero magnetism, energy concentrated on the sphere of the universe. Thanks to the bowl-shaped transmitter, this energy forms plasma material as shown in the light bulb series. First, a gas core appears, and a moment later, plasma is formed. On both sides of the bowl emitter are tetrahedrons arranged with each other. Through the holes in the bowl, plasma radiation is directed into them. This is why octahedron is magnetic, because energy is attracted to the center and diverges from there into a pyramid. The plasma material in the middle of the bowl is not a real sun. It is ground into a shell, that is a stellar sphere, as shown on a famous website. Because if it was the sun, the radar would react to it, and it would have a speck, like here. Here, I'll tell you later. This and this concentration would not have existed without this object. In general, there are no cup emitters, and these pyramids, as shown on the same site, and the object is allegedly fake, it was artificially created. Under ideal conditions, it should not exist. The concentration between the pyramids is there precisely because of these objects, their properties. There is a zero in between them. This is just the concentration of ether in the center of a sphere, an invisible energy mass, just like the concentration around us, where this concentration is converted into plasma. Remove these ostensibly fake objects and the clot will spread out. What the authors of this website rely on is that it is unclear that a real sun is locked in octahedron. Maybe it was his fantasy, maybe it was his misunderstanding, and he also couldn't write clearly some of the ancient rock inscriptions against his face by the name solar. Where are these inscriptions? Solar energy is an English word that translates into the sun, that's all. Such as the planets of the solar system, planet, Earth, solar system, and most importantly, what I relied on, when I agreed that there was some kind of hidden solar energy in the center of the universe. I rethought it a long time ago, and nothing was untenable. Something was opened up, rethought, and by the way, there was nothing to watch on that old channel of mine about the hollow. There was nothing relevant there. Next, let's recall the episode when the bowl emitter formed the equatorial disk of plasma around the nucleus. By moving this cosmic scale to the equatorial line image, we get 0 parallel lines of the Earth's equator, so one pyramid is in one hemisphere and the other is in the other hemisphere. There is a magnetic balance between them. Let's recall the episode where steel balls were hung around the ball launcher. By moving the scale of this universe, we get a geostationary orbit, which is located above the Earth's equator and at 0 latitude, and the satellite is suspended in this orbit. The ball-shaped magnetic field emitter also proves that the annular circulation of cosmic spheres is reasonable. The universe is a big ring known in mythology of different nationalities as the world's different cosmic trees. Wikipedia, the mythological prototype of the world tree unites all areas of the universe. Usually its branches are related to the sky, its trunk is related to the earth world, and its roots are related to the Sheol in Slavic mythology, the tree of the world, the tree of life, and the tree of the world. The axis of the whole universe and the crown of the tree symbolizing the world reached the heaven of the roots. And in the land of the ancient Egyptians, this huge golden tree stood against the sky, and the Mayans placed a wonderful tree of the world in the center of the universe. Greek folk tradition holds that there is a tree supporting the earth. According to Bhagavan Gita, the tree of life grows up and down, and in Chinese legend, the 7-root Sigan is also the Chinese tree of life, nourished by 7 sources, hidden inside the earth. Its 7 branches touch 7 days. Where God rests, Enoch too, and the tree of life, which, with his indescribable incense when God enters heaven, the myth of the tree of the world prompts people to see a fable about the torus in which life arises. Romans 11:36, because all he has is for them and for him. As we all know, the human body will produce its whole torsional electrostatic field as the information carrier of the whole body. It is located around the human body and is circular. According to Oriental theory, the shape of human biological field is annular, and the annular axis extends along the spine. This has been confirmed by psychics who can see the Bior framework operator and some instrumental studies. Electromagnetic particles are annular. The Russian scientists at Artyukovskoye are convinced that electrons are long-lived trapezoidal eddies made up of what we call the smallest particles in a vacuum. The motor has an annular winding. The smoke ring has an annular structure. Apple is an edible shape, and so on. According to the positive principle, assuming that the elementary particles are a ring on the proton image, it is logical that the universe will eventually be a big ring. It will obviously stop, which can explain why the light energy radio waves keep bending upward, all of which conform to the annular circulation which is attracted to the center of the universe and returned. The universe is a large magnetic field, a stellar sphere, the Earth's crust and magnetic lines of force. The magnetic field is just the same torus with volume 1. The annular magnetic field is caused by the bowl-shaped radiator in the center of the cosmic sphere. It is worth noting that the approximate field theory echoes the crystal field theory to some extent. From top to bottom, from right to front, there is a positively charged cation and a charged atom in the center, which is attracted by 6 negatively charged ligands on the axis. Therefore, the center of the universe is concentrated at 0. Energy forms octahedral silt field. This is an octahedron and the center is a core. Ligands have negative fields around them, and when they converge with cations, they will form spherical energy bubbles. The field of the octahedron surrounding the central cation. This further understands the creation of the universe. Why do we have a spherical Earth, a spherical star sphere, a spherical celestial sphere? At 3846, when I calculate the basis of the Earth, tell me if you know Who measured it, if you know? Or who pulled the letter on it? What is its foundation? Or who laid its cornerstone? Next, look at the photo above. We can see that the upper pyramid is clearer and more obvious than the lower pyramid. Presumably, inside this actual system is the Djed column appearing in the Egyptian theme. Through it, the energy rises from the center of the magnetic zero point to the north top of the octahedron. The northern top of the octahedron is the most obvious pyramid in the northern hemisphere, and its top points to the center of a continent called Hyperborea that once existed. Its geographical location and structure are precisely for this reason. Jets in octahedron convert energy from center to zero and provide power for the sun. Djed concentrates energy at the top of the north pyramid and through electromagnetic coupling. It enters the collimator of the sun through the collimator of the equipment to obtain parallel beams or particles. Insulator-like jet columns are not uncommon in ancient Greek images. Or something close to the current transfer process, the jet is often combined with another element of the tank. This is Nikola Tesla's electric oscillator. There is no doubt that Jack and the ANC have something to do with Jack Electric in ancient Egyptian Xinhua. The symbol of Osiris represents his spine. According to legend, Osiris's spine was cut and erected. This is the Egyptian symbol Jet Osiris, the husband of Isis, and fetches oily food on the mural. Below, they use their wings to protect Osiris's fetishist Jet column. In this composition, the metaphorical incarnation of the cosmic throne can be traced back, and its image is expressed by the wings of Izida and the oil of octahedral food, in which a jet is formed on its top. The wing energy mass shows an octahedron of different shapes inside the jade and shows energy concentration at its top. Below is the Tesla transformer, which is designed to distribute energy. It is clear that the jet forms an energy pool at the top of it, as the ancient image of Jeff combining with the tank shows, and at the top of it a sphere similar to the sun, from which energy enters a cathode, namely solar jet, anode solar jet, cathode jet, energy emitter, solar receiver. The annular circulation of energy light from the central zero to the cosmic sphere, the energy rises through Djed to the top of the northern pyramid, is concentrated in a center, and is emitted from the sun to the collimator of the sun through electromagnetic coupling. As the magnetic lines of force show, light travels in a fan shape. Here is the force line of the fan, and here is the way of propagation of sunlight. Because of the bowl-shaped magnetic field emitter and two pyramids at the center of the cosmic sphere, everything circulates according to magnetic lines of force. We live in the same big magnetic field. Then the light shrouds a part of the sphere and goes back to where it arrived, which looks like an annular circulation. Realizing the genius of this system, how much the sun paid, it got an extremely rational closed system. In one hemisphere, daylight in the other, night there depicts extreme points that illuminate the Earth's surface. Further learning extends beyond the atmosphere, outer space, where the thin light of the air does not scatter, but through the visual spectrum we perceive, we can only see scattered light. If you go out of the atmosphere and look at the sun, you will see a white spot with no light and no scattering, just like here. But when these invisible cosmic rays encounter object-to-object resistance in space, their energy will be transferred and they will be illuminated. Therefore, the moon and objects called planets of the solar system are illuminated. Illustrations depict the phase of the month wandering in this fan-shaped propagation of sunlight. When a month is not in the dark area of a month, when it obscures the sun, it will have a solar eclipse. In between, it will change its phase and be partially or completely illuminated. Going back to the picture, we will see that from left to right, there is a concentration at the top, and at the top there is a focus at the north top of the octahedron, and from left to right, energy convergence, annular circulation. According to the sun's hypothesis, it is a parabolic disk with a dark hemisphere on the back, receiving electromagnetic connection from Jed's octahedron. This is the general appearance of the equipment. Software description. About the famous jet fables. Software description. About Mint Olympus. The sun's rotation is affected by magnetic thawing. It causes the sun to spiral gradually along the orbit of the stellar sphere at the extreme points of Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. That is, the usual magnetic force. The sun spirals between these extreme points and reaches them every 6 months when the sun is on Tropic of Cancer. Then the North Pole will be 24 hours a day and the South Pole will be at 2004 Sage. When the sun is in the southern hemisphere, the Antarctic will have a polar day, while on the Arctic night it takes 365 days for a complete cycle to reach an extreme point and return to the tail. Why are the poles of the sun, Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn? No more, no less. Obviously, the bowl emitter is the limiter of the magnetic region of the sun's motion. Between the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn, the climate is hot because the sun often shines on this area. After the extreme point, the climate in the north temperate zone of Tropic of Cancer becomes cold. After the North Pole, the climate becomes cold. After the south temperate zone of Tropic of Capricorn becomes cold. And after the South Pole, the climate becomes cold. The images in the book and Langer's organ theory about the sexual world show that the spiral motion of the sun on the right is extreme. On the left is the last one. The sun revolves around the sphere in this spiral way, and the seasons change. This spiral motion is happening, as mentioned above, between the North Tropical Zone and the South Tropical Zone. The photographer photographed the spiral motion of the sun for 6 months from a fixed point in Athens. As far as the sun itself is concerned, I have two hypotheses. One, it could be something like a mechanism, that is, a spotlight, which has its own elements, and the tiger's attack process, taking energy from Jed, making it work, activating its elements, like a light bulb in Network 2. Suppose the sun may be a lens, just a lens without any process at all. This is a semi-convex lens. It absorbs energy from Jed's octahedron. It just amplifies and disperses itself. This is the color of energy.